Welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing how to apply for a job online. If you've already visited my page before, or even if this is your first time, the format that I usually do is I will read an article, and then as I'm reading the article, then I will give comments and feedback. I hope that you enjoy. Okay, so today we're learning how to apply for a job online. You need a computer, internet access, an email address, a resume, and a cover letter to apply for jobs online. Follow these steps to simplify your online job search and application process. 1, update your resume. 2, update your profile on professional networking platforms. Use keywords, use job search engines and company websites. Be selective. Draft a separate cover letter for each application. Complete an online job application. Make sure your responses are error-free, accurate, and fully completed. Track and follow up on your job applications, and of course keep applying. So number 1, update your resume. Before you apply for online jobs, update the resume and draft a basic cover letter. Your resume should include your current contact information and your full employment history. Save your resume under the simple title containing the word resume. That's easy for hiring managers to identify with your first name, your last name, and the current year. It suggests that you can use Google Docs to draft your resume for free, then save it on Google Drive and export it as a PDF document when you need to apply for jobs online. Absolutely, you always want to update your resume, especially even if you're already working. You want to keep your resume current. And then definitely as you're applying for jobs, even though it says that you would have a basic one, I found that I tailor my resume based on the type of job that I'm applying for, because of course there are keywords that each different position is looking for. So I have different resumes. Like, I update my resume, of course, but I have actually different resumes for different fields when I was applying for jobs. Number 2, update your profile on your professional networking platforms. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Keep that updated and current. Some recruiters and companies prefer looking at your profile on professional networking platforms rather than your resume, since the platform layouts is similar for each profile. Make sure your profile is up to date and that you don't have images or posts that could deter hiring managers from hiring you. If you have a professional website that includes samples of your work, add a link to your online portfolio in your resume. Absolutely. Definitely practice. I still practice that now. It's great. Now I use it more as a portfolio rather than an actual resume. So yes, you definitely want to keep those things up to date. Make sure it's professional. Keep things separate. If you have the type of if you participate in types of activities that you might feel like a hiring manager may question anything, you want to keep those things separate. So definitely agree with number 2. Number 3, use keywords. As I mentioned during number 1, find keywords in the job descriptions for positions you want to apply for. Use relevant keywords in your resume can help a recruiter scan your resume easily. Some companies also use applicant tracking systems that search for keywords in applications. Adding some of those keywords can help the ATS send your resume to the hiring manager for further review. Review your resume and include keywords if they apply. For example, if the description states that you need to have excellent teamwork skills, try to incorporate examples of your teamwork abilities in your resume. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I mentioned that in number 1 that I did have various resumes when I was applying for jobs, because I did have various fields that I was applying for and various types of titles, right? So definitely you want to have keywords, and I would suggest having different resumes to have on maybe not your professional network your professional networking platform. Like, for instance, I'm on LinkedIn. That's going to stay the same. When the recruiter, or as I mentioned, the ATS is searching the applicant tracking system, when it's looking at your resume, it's pulling for those words. And then basically when they go to your professional website or your online presence, then what they'll see is the commonality of the jobs, right, that you had. And so, of course, if there's an overarching job that you're looking for, or if there's a dream job that you have, I would say set up your professional network or your online, like if you're on LinkedIn, I would set that up to read like that, because I think the jobs kind of hiring managers understand that your resume will be tailored for that job, and what they should be able to see is the same companies, similar skills. They might not find the same exact keywords, but they definitely can see that your employment history is there and that matches, as well as the skills. Number 4. Use job search engines and company websites. Many companies post their job openings to job search engine websites. You can search these websites for jobs you're interested in by using different filters like position title, salary, and location. There are also job search websites for niche fields and industries. Make sure you perform a thorough search to find all jobs that interest you. If you know which organizations you want to work for, look at their websites directly for job listings under the career section of their site. When you apply on a company website, your application will go into the application tracking system where you can check the status as often as you want. Smaller companies may provide an email address to which you need to send a cover letter and resume. In the subject line of the email, add your full name and the title of the position. Use the body of the email as the abbreviated version of your cover letter. Give a short reason why you're applying for the role. Attach your resume and cover letter to the email. Absolutely agree. When I was applying for jobs, what I would practice is that if I did find it on a job search engine, I would always go to the company's website to see if the position was still listed there and are open. As a person that has worked for different companies, I do know sometimes companies collect resumes to have candidates, and I'm trying to remember the term, but it's not in my head right now. But to have that, have those people kind of there for in the event that they'll need to hire someone. So you do want to, if you're looking for a job immediately, I would definitely suggest that you would go directly to the company website. As it mentioned, smaller companies, they might only have an email address. They might not have, they might only use the job search engine. So just because you don't find it on the company website doesn't mean they're not hiring. But I definitely suggest, if you're looking for something right away, to always go directly to apply with the company rather than through those search engines. Number 5, be selective. Make sure you understand the requirements for a job. Only apply if you meet the position's requirements. It is better to apply online at jobs and organizations you want to work for and that match your goals and skill set. Since it can take some time to fill out an application for each job, you can save more time by being selective during your search. Absolutely be selective, right? As I mentioned, if you have a dream job, you want to have your online presence definitely geared and centered around that job, because that's what you're trying to attract, right? And that's the company that you're interested in. Sometimes we can have dreams to work for very large corporations, and it might take some time to get picked up on those corporations. And you might simply be looking for a job right now in order to get hired as you're waiting for that dream job. So you definitely want to be selective, but also be open, right? Because sometimes you may be surprised, like I know for a long time, I would say in the beginning of my career, I was absolutely 100% a brand girl, right? I'm still kind of that, but my mom calls me that too from when I was a kid. But I definitely always pursued companies that were bigger companies that I worked for. And I always wanted to be at the it company, as I did a video before about sometimes taking that unpopular job, right? And sometimes working for a smaller company that may not have that big brand name, you actually end up gaining more skills, because you are wearing different hats oftentimes when you work for smaller companies. And smaller companies can become big companies, right? You never know. So, I wouldn't say overlook it as you're being selective. I would say, depending on where you are in your career, just be open-minded. I know it says be selective, and I would say mainly be selective for the type of job, as it mentions, like that matches your goals and skill set, right? Because you can want that dream job to work at that major company. I mean, at one point I wanted to work overseas for Nestle, right? I never even did that. Who knows what could happen in the future? You never know. But when I was in China, I wanted to work for Nestle, right? I never got that job, but I had a very good job, as I was for what took me over to China, right? So you have to keep those things in mind, stay open. So be selective in the way of kind of what is your dream and idea, your skill set, your special unique abilities. Be selective in that way to make sure that every job is cultivating that. Be always open to learn from every single job you have, but I absolutely 100% would tell you to be open and flexible when it comes to the company that you work for. Be selective when it comes to when you're talking about benefits, as well as culture of the company, as well as quality of life, work-life balance. Those things you want to be selective about, because if you're I don't really advise going into a company expecting to leave, right? So those things I would say absolutely be selective about. But when it comes to whether it's a small or large company, I would say be open, because sometimes that small company actually ends up helping you to cultivate and actually gives you more opportunity to improve and expand upon your skill sets, so that maybe you will be attractive to that larger organization later on in your career. So be open, but be selective about, the culture, the work-life balance, that kind of thing. All right, so number 6, draft a separate cover letter for each application. Your cover letter should address the specific job requirements and highlight your skills and achievements. Mention how you would use your knowledge and skills in the position, and give examples of how you helped your former employees with similar issues. Keep your cover letter focused and short to keep the interest of the recruiter. Is it bad that I can say I can probably count on one hand how many times I've used a cover letter? I don't know if I should say that. I rarely have a cover letter, but I also am a person that most of the jobs that I acquired in my career were, they were invitations by people that maybe were within the organization, people that had heard about my work. I would say the most that I applied for jobs was when I first started out, right, as a kid. Then again, after my divorce, because I was like, what would I do? I was shifting, changing, things were going on, what do you do? I would say the next time that I actually applied for jobs was there was another life-changing thing. So I rarely applied for jobs, but cover letters, I use them a lot for school, right? When I would apply to school for programs, but not necessarily when I was applying for a job. I would love to have a conversation with someone about their take on using cover letters and how it has expanded. I think it's a good practice, right? Because if you're writing a cover letter, it's almost a tool for manifestation in a way. That's very interesting. Anywho, whole nother topic. But I would say if you're a person that enjoys writing cover letters, you should definitely do it. But I will not say that cover letters are required in order to get some really great positions. As I mentioned, I literally don't know how often I've used a cover letter. It's very rare for me, but I don't know very many people that do them a lot. But I would love to get feedback on that from people, like how often do they use a cover letter, and or even from a hiring manager of, how useful is it? Does it really make a difference? I think it would, but I would love to have a conversation with someone about that because I have rarely done that. All right, so number 7, complete the online job application. To apply for jobs online, you need to register with job boards and websites by creating an account. This involves choosing a login name and password. You can usually use your email address as your login name for simplicity. After creating an account, add your resume. You can do this in one of these ways: attaching a file of your resume by uploading it from a USB drive or computer to the website, copying and pasting your resume into the fields on the application, and or manually entering your work history into the required fields. Some websites have a function that automatically populates application details from your resume. Review the uploaded details to ensure they match your information. Definitely want to do that. Again, what I want to highlight is that you want to make sure that you review the details, because even if it is a company that has a website that has the function to automatically populate it, it doesn't always pull everything, or sometimes it'll juxtapose dates. So you definitely want to review the uploaded details to ensure that it is correct and accurate. I would hate to be overlooked based on I've attached my resume, but the populating information is something completely different. So you do want to take time to do that. And definitely you want to complete the entire job application, or else you won't be considered. I'm 100% sure of that. I hope I don't have to say that, but you definitely want to complete the entire job application. All right, number 8, you want to make sure your response are error-free, accurate, and fully completed, which is similar to what I just said. You should make sure that your spelling, grammar, and content are error-free to improve your chances of getting an interview. Any information you give in your application should be honest and accurate to avoid misunderstandings. Sometimes you need to complete employment tests to assess your skills or your personality to figure out if you're a good fit for the position or the company. There are many pre-employment tests, such as cognitive tests and emotional intelligence tests. Make sure you complete all the tests to ensure the hiring managers consider you for the role. Absolutely. And part of completing the application is doing every single one of the pre-employment requirements that the job may have. And absolutely, you want to make sure that your grammar is good. There are definitely apps for that. People that you can go to have your resume reviewed. I have not began to offer that service, but it might be something that I consider doing in the future. Number 9, you want to track and follow up on your job applications. Keep track of your applications helps you know which position a hiring manager is referring to when they call you for an interview. If you know someone at the company where you applied, call or email them to check on the status of your application. It's usually acceptable to follow up 1 week after submitting an application. If there was a specific window for applying to a job, such as 1 month after the posting date, try following up after that month, since some hiring managers wait to review applications all at once. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. This is kind of hard to do. When keeping track, record keeping is definitely something that may be challenging for some people. I would say that I'm better at following that than I was probably before, because of what I have going on, and I try to stay as organized as possible. But definitely, if it's possible, you want to keep track. I usually will have an Excel spreadsheet where I'm just copying and pasting the web addresses so that I know where I applied, what job it was. I would add that it would be good to list why you thought that was a good job, because as you're applying, when they call you back, even if you have it written there, you might not remember why you decided to apply for that company. And so if you have that key there, as far as stating that I applied because, or I thought this would be this, and that, you might end up figuring out from the interview that you may not want to work for that company. Remember, as you're being interviewed, you're also interviewing that organization of whether or not you think it'll be a good fit for you. So, it's a two-way street, right? Jobs are relationships. They're not just, and you never want to be in a one-sided relationship. Yes, a job does provide for you the finances that you need in order to afford the life that you would like to live. But the other side of that is that you are giving of yourself, right? And so, what are you giving to them, and if you're going into it, you want to make sure that you're giving them 100%. All right. So the last and final thing is keep applying. Finding a job can take some time. And even after applying for several jobs online, continue networking online and offline. Your network can help you discover unadvertised vacancies. Remain confident using the support from your friends and family. If you keep on applying, you can be successful in finding a new job. Absolutely keep applying, stay confident, and definitely keep networking, right? I speak about that in my book, The Great Promotion. Even if you're sometimes, I also pointed out, one of the bonus keys the bonus key in my book talks about how sometimes your promotion comes from applying with another company, right? So sometimes where we're working, we can kind of reach a ceiling. And so this is a great opportunity to discuss how would you apply, online with another company relating to getting that promotion or moving up the ladder with another company. So I think these are great tips, and I hope that you've enjoyed this content. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hello, my name is Kendra, the official business renovator. Welcome to my page. I am so happy to have you here today. And I hope that you enjoy. Of course, feel free to like, share, or comment on the video, as well as follow to get notifications for when I upload any new information. And also the link is in the bio where you can find all of the products that I would like to share with you on how to advance in your career. Some of you may know, and if you're new to my page, you do not know that I did recently release a book called The Great Promotion, where I discuss how I was promoted 4 times in 6 months and received a bonus while working from home. And so my name is Kendra, the official business renovator. Welcome.